still on a lunch break. So let me share for you a little bit of audio from the interview the defendant did with the police in the back of the car, raining that night, on the night of the crimes. Here we go.
What was their relationship like?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. How about yours and Maggie's?
Wonderful. I mean, I'm sure we had little things here and there, but we had a wonderful marriage, wonderful relationship.
And yours and Paul's relationship?
As good as it could be.
How was Paul?
22.
Okay. You know his date of birth?
I do. April 11th, 96 is his brother's. April 14th, 99 is Paul's.
What's Maggie's full name?
Margaret Brandstetter Murdaugh.
Her date of birth, sir?
September 15th, 1968.
Have y'all been having any problems out here? Trespassers, people breaking in?
None that I know of. The only thing that what comes to my mind is my son Paul was in a boat wreck a couple years ago, and there's been he was charged with being arrested for being the driver. There's been a lot of negative publicity about that, and there's been a lot of people online just really vile stuff, but when Paul's out and about, I mean, people routinely, I don't think I know the full story, so I don't think they give it to me, but I mean, he's been punched and hit and just attacked a lot, so, you know, but I mean, nothing like this.
Yeah. Any one person in particular or a group of people
I don't know.
that you could think of?
It's not that I know, that's right.
Has he, other than being assaulted, has he received any direct threats related to the boat accident?
Oh, yes. All the time.
Recently?
Yes, I mean, he gets them all the time.
Okay.
He gets them all the time.
What kind of, I mean...
I'm going to kick your ass, you know. I've never been privy firsthand, you know.
Is that through social media? Or?
No, ma'am. It's mostly like if he goes out places is what, you know, what goes out, like somewhere. He's in college, so he goes out, is what I understand. I can find out better details from some of his younger friends on that.
Who's his best friend?
His best friend in Colombia is Will's Chapman, Will Loving, Bobby Boyle. Bobby Boyle, Will Chapman, and Paul were getting ready to move into a house together in Colombia.
You said Will Chapman and Will Loving?
Will's with an S, Chapman, and Will with an L, Loving.
Okay.
Around here, his best friends are clearly Nolan Tootin and Roden Gibson.
And so there's Alex Murdaugh looking at, kind of the tabletop as he hears himself talking to cops. This was the night in June when this happened. It's a little rainy, so he's in the back of the cop car. Hey, fire drill is over. They're back in court now after the lunch break. Still on the stand is Melinda Worley, and she was one of the CSI personnel from SLED. She is still testifying. Let's go back in live.
This time our offer states Exhibit 20, the pellets from the feed room floor, and State's Exhibit 18, the swabs from the door of the feed room into evidence.
Says the defense.
Sorry, no objection.
You're admitted.
All right, Agent Whirley, let's move on to Maggie. Did you have a chance to observe her body?
I did.
And where was it located?
She was just past the workshop overhang near the doghouse.
And when you first got out there, could you see her body or was it covered?
It was covered with a pink sheet.
I'm going to show you States 52, States Exhibit 50, States 48, and States 47. You could take a look at those and tell us what, in general, they just depict.
These were photos of Maggie the way she appeared when we arrived on scene, still covered with the pink sheet.
And are those true and accurate depictions of the crime scene where Maggie Murdaugh was found when you were out there?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, at this time, I would offer States Exhibits 52, 50, 48, and 47 into evidence.
Your Honor, we don't have any objections to these, but I think we need to go through this process, at least on two of them, to have them submitted under seal and a placeholder put in effect. Am I wrong about that?
This time we're going to move States 52 through 48 and 47 into evidence.
Says the defense.
Well, we know there's been a lot of protection given to some of the exhibits, and it sounds like some of those that are being enumerated now with this witness, they might even want under seal. So that's going to be interesting. Hey, good to have you back here. Appreciate the Q&A session with Anjanette Levy, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're trying to do that every weekday as we can during the lunch hour. Richard Schoenstein still here, and Katherine Lizardo has joined. She is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Good to see you, Katherine. So this case it's a mess, and we are just in day 2 of testimony. How do you think it's going? Is the prosecution, making headway in convincing a jury that their guy is the guy that done it?
Well, the prosecution hasn't really given much headway because there's a lot of foundational issues that are happening. As we saw, they're talking about evidence and which evidence to be admitted. And some of the testimony we've heard so far were not really smoking guns and also might be helpful for the defense. For example, the cross-examination we were talking about earlier about how the cell phone was handled, that it wasn't in the proper bag when it was being transported. So far, the defense seems to be tipping the scale more, but that's to be expected because he's supposed to be presumed innocent until the state produces reasonable doubt.
Yep, and as we, Richard, as we plod through the prosecution's case, the defendant should never look more guilty than at the end of the prosecution's case. And we're taking baby steps in that direction. I know it's a long trial. Let me ask you this about this particular procedural issue underway in the courtroom right now. What do you anticipate? What makes an exhibit so delicate, and we know we're not seeing most of them anyway, but this is so secretive that we got to seal it. The court is going to be asked to seal these things.
Well, I don't know exactly, because if it's under seal...
Yes, you're not going to learn. Yes, I understand the conundrum I've created.
But I can speculate. I can speculate. Either it is so graphic that they don't want anybody to get their hands on it, or it contains some sort of confidential information about somebody who's not the defendant that shouldn't get released into the public for some reason that only the judge and the lawyers will know. Those are the two reasons I can imagine.